Alright, so in this video I'm going to be reviewing both chapters of Magi, the last one that I missed, 198 and 199. So 198 is the end of the Magnostat arc, pretty much it wraps up everything, and it does it in an interesting way. I have a couple of gripes about certain aspects of what happened in the chapter, and I'll get to that in a minute. So first of all, the Reim Empire pretty much saved its ass by joining up with the Alliance, and I guess that was the best thing that they could do at this particular point, because Cohen in this chapter is just pretty much like, I don't give a fuck. And I could totally see that there's a lot of similarities between Cohen and Sinbad. They're definitely, first of all, ride or die for their countries that they're protecting. So I could definitely see that there's a lot of similarities and qualities to them that are also, at times, almost shady feeling. Because this chapter, once again, just slightly displays what I've been talking about regarding Sinbad and whatnot, and how he just kind of feels a little bit shady. Like, in this chapter, he's pretty much saying, well, you know, I'm gonna take Magnostat, and yeah, I'm gonna help them out. And it's just like, there's something about this guy that I could honestly say I could clearly see in the end of Magi, him being the final threat, whether it be that he just thinks that he has this divine power that he needs to be the one to control everything in order for the world to be balanced out or something, but I could totally see it. He just gives this little bit of a look, like it felt like just something in him. Now Cohen said, oh yeah, you know, there would be a lot more problems if he was just trying to be selfish, but Sinbad just really, there's something off about this guy, and I'm totally seeing that, like, whether it be years from now or close by, there's gonna be something big where Sinbad is gonna just do something where people aren't gonna tolerate it anymore. It's also revealed in this chapter that it probably won't be far off the next time Altharman attacks, because pretty much that vortex or whatever the hell it is going to be open for the next few years, so they can pretty much restart up as soon as possible to bring Father through the gate and whatnot. So I'd imagine there won't be like a big time skip from now to the next battle with Altharman, and when they come back it's probably going to be even stronger than ever, because now using Mogame as a test, now they know, okay, we need to come up with something even stronger, something a lot darker at the core, and then they could come back and bring Father back. So it won't be that much of a stretch based on what I get from this chapter 198 until Altharman strikes again. This chapter also made me wonder if they are clearly looking at Gyokuen as, like, you know, she's this threat, and, you know, she's kind of revealing, yo, I'm a bitch. Are they going to allow her to be in the Co-Empire, or what's up with that? Are they just going to pretend like this never happened? I mean, because she is behind the scenes doing all this shit, and it's clearly display that she's with Altharman, so I don't understand, like, what's going to be her position as far as the Co-Empire goes. Is she going to continue to be there? Is she going to just be dismissed immediately? Because the Seven Alliances aren't going to allow Altharman to keep on going anyway. And in this chapter, we also get another big thing with pretty much Ugo's head bringing Titus. Now, this is the part of the chapter that I wasn't too fond of, pretty much reviving Titus. On one half, I'm like, yo, this character deserved it. But at the same time, it's like, it cheapens the death of him. Like, you know, pretty much reviving him after everything. It was like the legacy that was left behind. And Titus did one last thing I really liked in the last chapter. And then we get to this chapter and it's like, well, he's been revived back. And it also makes me question exactly what the hell is Ugo, if he can pretty much revive somebody back to life and turn them into the new Magi. I believe Ugo was Solomon's #1 servant. A lot of people are theorizing that maybe Ugo was Solomon himself. I highly doubt that. I'm more so leaning on the lines that Ugo was just like his #1 servant, and he entrusted Ugo with powers, like to do, for example, what he did and revive him back into the Magi. It makes sense, I guess, in a way, if it is like that he has the powers to choose the next Magi, because Solomon left him those powers, but it still nonetheless cheapens the legacy and the death of, like, Titus. And it's like, oh, he's revived back again before the little girl can wake up, so she wakes up to Titus being there again. So it just felt like it just cheapened it. Yeah, it's cool to see him back, but I just feel as though the impact of, like, man, Titus, you know, he was really a big player in this last arc. He really brought the emotion, just like kind of goes out the window. To put it into perspective, for a lot of people that complain when Nagato revived back a lot of people and the Pain arc, that's kind of how I felt with the whole Titus situation. Then the ending of the chapter, Judal pretty much sucking up all the black root. But the thing of the end of the chapter the most that got me is Hakuryu pretty much throwing away any last inkling of him going back to that road of Morgiana and them. It's pretty much like, it almost feels as though this is like Sasuke from the end of part 1 of Naruto. He's like, pretty much that path is done. And it's also like he's basically saying, fuck the thing that he promised. He said, you know, I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to make you my wife. I could clearly see Hakuryu at some given point dying and saying, well, I couldn't live up to what I said, and I'm sorry, but I still wish you would be my wife someday. So this chapter 198 totally just like throws everything out. Any last inkling of like, oh, I might have, you know, Hakuryu maybe. It's just like, nah, man. Pretty much Judal is the Orochimaru to his Sasuke at this particular point. Yeah, I went there. So overall, 198 for the end of Magna Star. I felt it was a very good ending. It definitely had some problems in there. Like I said, I felt as though it cheapened the death of Titus to begin with reviving him back as being a Magi. Also, it brings up further questions like, what is Ugo? Because he's clearly a lot more powerful and has a lot more abilities than a lot of the other Dijin that we've seen in the past. So it really just brings up questions as well as like, what is Ugo? Where is Ugo at this particular point? And how was he able to bring back Titus? But yeah, 198 overall. Give this one an 8 out of 10. Very good ending. Had a couple of problems and things that I felt was a bit, ruining to certain parts. But overall, still very interesting stuff. And hopefully in the future, Hakuryu gets his shit kicked in. Because fuck him for breaking the promise. Like, you gotta be a man. You promised Morgiana that you're gonna do your best to one day be with her. And look at you. Them mommy issues. Now, chapter 199. This was a very basic chapter. It was pretty much the aftermath of what happened, more or less. I like that pretty much the whole Magna Star system and structure of how they had them almost like just living in some very terrible circumstances down there was thrown out the window, and it clearly shows that Aladdin's mission to change Magna Star was accomplished. So we got some pretty good progression with that and just achieved one of Aladdin's goals, and that was the whole point of Magna Star to begin with. He wanted to change things, and goal succeeded. We also get in 199 that Titus is the new official Magi of the Reign Empire. Again, like I said in earlier on in the video, I feel as though him coming back. It's good now that we have another positive Magi on the team, and it's going to be interesting to see his interactions with Aladdin when they do meet up once again and see, exactly to what extent is Titus's power, because we know now in this chapter that he has all 200 years of Sheherazade's memory in him. So it's almost as if Titus is Scheherazade and Titus combined, which means that Titus ain't going to be no pushover either, and he probably has some insane abilities. And it seems as though we're setting up for a 5 Kage summit. Yeah, I know, a lot of Naruto comparisons in this video, because apparently in 2 months everyone's going to meet up, and it's interesting because apparently Aladdin is not only going to share the info that he was supposed to share with Cohen to just Cohen, but also Sinbad. And if my suspicions are correct, very bad idea to share anything with Sinbad. I could be a little paranoid, or I don't know, just Sinbad, something not right about that guy. And nonetheless, again, it was just more so of a cool down time in this chapter. They went back to Sindria so that they could relax. I feel as though you could see with the characters, even though there's something off about Sinbad, they feel most comfortable in his kingdom because the people around Sinbad, I think, are some of the most purest people that they've been around. So it's like, while Sinbad, maybe there might not be something bad about him inside of him, nonetheless, the people around him are some very good people. And it was also nice to see that those actual kids from the, I believe I don't know the exact name of the arc, but the one where they were like, fighting the little kids, the arc right before Magna Star, see the kid grew up and whatnot. So it's actually good that an arc like that, which kind of felt, for the most part, a bit insignificant to other stuff. It was good for a Hakuryu-centric stuff and to, like, push development with him where he was going. But overall, it just felt like a very smaller arc. And to bring back that kid and see that he has a lot of gratitude towards Alibaba was definitely a good thing. And it was interesting to see. Although he had one of those Kobe time skip looks. I guess it has been a year, but I don't know if a year is going to make you shoot up like 5 feet. Then the end of the chapter that made, I think, everybody want to beat the living stuffing out of Alibaba. How the fuck do you play our girl Morgiana like that and have that other bitch looking like, are you kidding me? So at the end of the chapter, Alibaba pretty much going with this Toto girl, saying that that's his girlfriend, to Morgiana's shock. Now I feel as though the direction that it's going, this is going to be a big thing, because first of all, it's going to push Morgiana probably to try a bit harder, because up until now, she's just been silent about her feelings. We get little small reactions, but you don't really get her full on going with her feelings. This might push her to be like, okay, I gotta assert myself. If I want this guy, I'm gonna have to go full force. But nonetheless, Alibaba is a scumbag for pretty much, hey, I kind of might feel like Morgiana might have something for me, but no, I'm going with this Toto bitch. Which, by the way, Toto ain't got nothing on Morgiana. And it's like, I just felt so bad for Morgiana at the end. You could totally see, like, her heart was a bit shattered with that ending. Like, yo, what the fuck is up with people like Hakuryu and Alibaba? Which, by the way, Morgiana actually, shot down Hakuryu so she could be with Aladdin and Alibaba, only for this dickhead to do that. Fuck Alibaba. 199 for a cooldown chapter. It was fine. It, for the most part, was like a lot of celebration and a little bit of aftermath, but it definitely, the big shocker was kind of like going towards, I guess, the more emotional aspects with the characters. I don't like where it's going right now, because it seems as though there's going to be a lot of love triangles and whatnot, but it's interesting because it's going to progress, I feel as though, Morgiana's character more with these actions and make her have to go a lot stronger and be more confident with herself, with her feelings and her feminine side. So I give 199 a 6 out of of 10. But let me know what you guys think. First of all, 198 Sinbad. Did you just get that vibe once again from him when he was pretty much saying, yeah, I'm gonna take Magnastot? And also, what's up with Ugo? Is he like Solomon himself reincarnated? Was he one of his helpers and Solomon just gave him the power to reincarnate people into the Magi? And also, how did you feel about Titus being reborn as the Magi? Felt it cheapened his death, or? And what do you think about Alibaba getting a new girlfriend right in front of Morgiana's eyes? Was that fucked up or what? I know you were lonely in the Reign Empire, but come on, dog. Morgiana's right. Stop. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you can't wait to see where we're going, because now we're in a new arc. Fresh start. Can't wait for it. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.